Hey guys, in this lesson we'll talk about the index and the match function. Now index and match function and the combination is one of the most commonly used tools to look up information on any Excel sheet. So if you do a lot of lookups, it's really very important to know the index and the match functions and how they can be used in combination to look up information. It's a must-have skill if you're dealing with large data sets and constantly have to look up information on these data sets. So let's get into it and try to understand what index and matches and see how it is used to look up information. So let's start off with the match function. So what the match function is. So say for instance we're trying to look up shoes in this range of data. We want to know what is the row number of shoes. Okay, so let's write a quick function for that. So we'll go to the FX sign. We'll select match, click on OK. Now it's asking for a lookup value. So let's give the lookup value that we're looking for is shoes. Then it's asking you for a lookup array. So that's the range of cells that you're going to look the data up. So we'll select the range of data. The next thing it'll ask you is, do you want it to be an approximate or do you want it to be an accurate exact match? So we want to go for an exact match, so we'll give it a 0. By default, Excel always takes it as 0. And we'll click OK. So now you see that it has given us in this range of data the location of shoes, which is 5. Similarly, we can do the same thing for a column match. So here, for instance, you're trying to look up the information of the location of shoes in this range. So we just click on FX, just change the lookup array from vertical to horizontal and click on OK. And there we have it, 5. So match has the lookup value, the lookup array, and the match type. This is the 3 things that you need to capture on the match function. The second function that we're going to talk about now is the index function. So the index function returns the value from within a table or a range. So if you're looking up for any specific value within a table or a range, the index function does it for you. So let's take, for instance, the price of shoes. We try to look out the price of shoes. We know that price, the shoes is in column 3 and row 5. So let's write the formula for that. So we go to FX, click on index, click on OK. Array, row number and column number, and click on OK. And the first thing is we need to select the array. So we'll select the array. This is the array. Now within that array, we are trying to look up for shoes, which is the row for shoes is 5 and column number is 3. 42 is the amount. So now to be able to capture any kind of product in an index, you need to capture the row or the value for the index function. Now let us learn how we can use the index and match function together. Okay, so here we have a list of products that we have at YC Clothing, and we are going to try to find out, we're going to search for items based on the product name, and we're also going to search for the product using the serial number of the product. So let's give an example here. We're going to look up for an item like silk shirts. So we'll type that in. So the first thing that we're going to use is we're going to find the row and the column number for silk shirts. So we will use the match function for that. Lookup value will be silk shirts. Lookup array will be, select this as the array. And do we want an exact match? Yes, we want an exact match, which will be a 0. And we have a 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Silk shirts is in the 6th position. Now we'll use the second match function to go ahead and get the price. So the price is in which column? So for that we would need to again run the match function. The lookup value would be this. The lookup value will be, price. The lookup array would be this. And the match would be an exact match. So it gives us a 2. So we found the prices on the second column. So now we're going to use the index function to find out the price of that particular product. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll write index array would be, we'll select the array for this would be this, and the row number would be, as we found out, the first row number would be 6 and the column number would be 2, and we get our result as 41. So we find silk shirt price as 41. So that's how you could use the index and the match functions combined together and to get that result. Now let's go ahead, and now we've gone and manually plugged in the values of 6 and 2. Now let's replace this formula of 6 and 2 with the match functions. Okay, so we have this match function. Let's copy it. And paste it where we have this value of 6. Similarly, the 2 where we have the value of 2, we'll copy this and paste this match formula. Hit the enter button and we have 41. So we can copy this formula and paste it here. And we get the value of 41. Now we can select one of these products. So we'll create a drop down list. So from earlier lessons we've learned how to make a drop down. So we'll select the cell. We'll go to data. We'll go to data validation. We'll click on data validation. We'll select list. We'll select the cells in the list. And we'll click on OK. So now we have the drop down list. So woolen socks would be 58, hoodies would be 25, shoes would be 42. So that's how we've used the index and match to find out about the prices of those particular products by name. Similarly, let's go ahead and find the same using the serial number once again for practice. You can pause the video and see if you can try to give this a go. We'll come back and discuss the solution. I hope you guys gave this a try. So let's go ahead and look at the solution. So in the first match, we're trying to look up the serial number. So let's create a list for this. So go to data validation, go to list, we'll select the range. So we have a list that we could drop down on and click on OK. So here we have it. We'll take 203. Okay, so we'll do the first match. The first match is, we'll put this is equal to this. Is equal to. Okay, so we'll look at is equal to or fx match. So what you're trying to look up value would be this. And what would be the lookup array? The lookup array would be, this would be the array. And we're looking for an exact match. So it's 0. Let's look up the second thing, which is prices. So again, fx match, lookup value would be prices, the lookup array would be this, and the match value would be 0, which is the exact match. So we have that as 3 and 3. Now let's use the index function. So that would be index array row number and column number, and press OK. So the array would be, select the array, would be this. The row number would be 3 and the column number will be 3, and we would hit OK. So we now have 45 for 203, which is here. So now let's go ahead and replace the values of the hard-coded numbers. So we'll go ahead and put in the values of 3 with the match function. So we'll select the first match function, go to the index formula, replace. That would give us the number of rows. And similarly, we could go ahead and select the match function for the number of columns. Control C. So now we have both the index function and both the matches for the column and the row. So we can take that and paste the formula down here. So now if we select any of the products, 205 would be 42, 230 would be woolen socks, which is 58. So that's how we can use the index and match function to find the data. Similarly, we could change the match functions if the data is placed in a vertical orientation. So we could change this formula slightly by changing the arrays for both these functions of match. So this is how you use the combination of match and index to find out and look up for information on Excel, which is really very powerful. In the next tab, I have index match 2. This is a challenge for y'all guys. I want you to go ahead and give this a go. So you can pause the video and try to answer the questions. So I'm trying to look out for an index match for store name, shirt type, quantity, and profit. Please pause the video and give this lesson a try. Okay guys, I hope you'll have gone ahead and give this a good try. So please refer back to some of the old lessons if you need to. Check out to see the earlier versions. Look up the web to see what the match and index function is. So let's go ahead and discuss how we're going to find the solution to this particular query. So the match function, the first match function that we need to look up is the match function for the store name. So let's write the first match function. So it's match. Click on OK. Lookup value would be the store name. The lookup array would be this, and the match value would be a 0. So click on OK. We get number 9. So this is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's 9 on the list. The second match value that we would need to get is the location of the shirt type. So once again, we go to the fx function, select the match, and we'll lookup value is N4. And once we have that, we then go ahead and we look up array would be this row array, and it would be an exact match. And we click on OK. So we have the two match functions. Now we'll plug in the index function with the row and the column index. So we put the equal sign, or we put the fx, we select the index function, array, row number, column number, and click on OK. So let's select the array. It would be, this would be the array, and we would select the row number, which is 9, and the column number, which is 7. So we have 97. So lookup clothing for casual shirts is at 97. That is correct. So now what we'll do is we'll substitute the match functions for the two hard-coded numbers 9 and 7. So we'll select the first match function, and we'll replace it with the value of 9. Similarly, we'll select the second match function and replace it with a value of 7. So that gives us 97. So that's the first part of the solution. So we'll select copy and we'll paste it out here. So we now have the quantity as 97. Let's look up something else just to clarify we've got the correct Zephyr clothing brand, and we'll select sports shirts. So we have Zephyr, sports shirts, which is at 17. That's correct. Similarly, we can select clothing nights, which is 24, clothing nights, which is 24 for sports shirts. Yes, we got that correct. So the next thing is to calculate the total profits. So let's look at how we're going to do that. Once again, we'll run the first match function. So match, lookup value would be that, lookup array, we'll select that as the lookup array, and we will select it as 0, which is an exact. So we have 7, and the second one we will look up for is the match for the profits. So let's select that, functions match, lookup value would be profits, and we'll select the lookup array. This would be the lookup array, and it would be an exact match. So that would give us 4. So now we'll write the index function. Index, we'll select the array. So we're starting at the store name and ending at profit. So that will be the array. We will then go ahead and stick the row number, which is 7, and the column number, which is 4, and we will get 221. So clothing nights has made a profit $221. So now we'll plug in the match values into the index function. So we'll copy that, we'll plug it in to the first value. Similarly, we'll copy the second one and plug it into the second value. So we have a total of 221. So now we have the formula. Formula looks pretty complex, but if you break it down into small components, writing the match and the index functions, you would then be able to get the correct answer. So break it down into its individual components and try to get at the query. So let's select some other just to check and see if we've got the correct just right. Just right stands at a profit of 880 and a quantity of sports shirts at 13. So that's how we go ahead and we use the index and match function to look up these simple searches. Another way of doing it would be also with the use of pivots, but this is a much easier way, and it's really, really important, and this can be very helpful when you're doing index match lookups. So please go ahead and try this out. Look up for data of your own, and in your work area, if you could find some data that you could actually use for using the index and match function. So I'll see you guys on the next lesson. See you there, guys. Bye bye.